Good afternoon and welcome to Community News Media. My name is Lori Nussbaum and we're here with an episode of Pickleball, the fastest growing sport in the nation. And today my guest is Kristian Bikic. Hopefully I pronounced that properly.
You did. I throw people off all the time by switching between Bikic and Bikic. So
Okay.
I like to keep people guessing as well, you know?
So Kristian, you're from Ultra Club, Pickleball,
Yep.
paddle and pickleball. So
Paddle and pickleball. Yeah.
tell us a little bit about you, how you got involved,
Yeah.
and about Ultra.
Okay, so it has been I want to say a pretty crazy story so far. So I'm from Miami, Florida originally, so it's always nice to be back home. I've moved around quite a bit, and I was in LA for 4 years. I come from a pretty athletic background. I've played a lot of different sports, and I came back to Miami after some time in LA by way of the pandemic. Discovered pickleball by way of my mother, Terry Rodriguez. Shout out to she's on Instagram. She's a social media queen. Blue4011. If you guys want to give her a follow, she would appreciate that. Hi, Mom. But I played one day with her and my sister, and I'm super competitive. And we played. It was 2-on-1. I was playing full court. Picked it up in no time, and I was like, I gotta play this every day. So then the next thing I knew, I was buying a new paddle. A month goes by, I was like, this is my new sport. So about a year and a half later, I meet Elise Ivy of Rockney Pickleball, and we had an excellent shout out to Rockney especially. They've been so good to me. They've been so good to the community. I mean, it's really, they are, in my opinion, one of the best ambassadors of the pickleball community, especially in South Florida. I know they're also on the Northeast side as well, up in Jersey, but they've done so much for the community, especially Elise. They keep it positive, all the things that I really value in pickleball. What's actually kept me and brought me in further into the sport, I just want to elaborate, the community, especially in South Florida, absolutely incredible. So I started coaching because Elise thought I'd be a good coach. Next thing I know, I'm at Riviera Tennis Center. Shout out to Jane Foreman. She gave me my first coaching position. Had a wonderful experience there. And then a leg injury happened. And then I was no longer coaching.
Let me just interrupt.
Yeah.
We met there.
We did, yeah.
We met there because you were coaching me.
The Flying
we
Ernies. Yeah. So we, at Riviera Tennis Center, they have a pickleball league. And so it's basically you have a series of teams that get together and they play every Friday night. It's a lot of fun. Our team, we didn't do so well at the beginning. Lori was playing exceptionally well. And we somehow managed to come back and win the finals. I'm not sure how it happened. I wasn't there for that one tournament night, but we won, and that's all that matters. So, yeah. And then once the leg injury happened, I already had I had an interview set up with Ultra for a management position, and we met. They were more than willing to work around this. And we've got some coaches coming in. We have an in-house coach, Pablo Rodriguez. He's a paddle player. Fun fact about paddle, a lot of people in America pronounce it padel. I've been finding out from the paddle guys, you want to say paddle. So was invented in Mexico. That's how Ultra started. We didn't start in Mexico, we started in Miami. And about 8 months ago, they started this really awesome 8-court. We have 3 courts indoors for padel, and we have 5 courts outdoors. We have some of the best paddle coaches, and we have Fernando Alcaron, and he's one of the top-ranked professional padel players. So if you're looking for padel and an established center, Ultra is definitely the place to go. And they have a warehouse across the street. There was an empty space. They said, hey, pickleball is the next thing. So we have this awesome space. Let's put in these fantastic indoor pickleball courts. So now we have this 5-court indoor space with music, air conditioning. We are the first indoor facility in South Florida, if I'm not mistaken, in all of Florida. And we're now building our pickleball program. And we opened up about 2 months ago. I just got on board about 2 weeks ago. And right now we're just focusing on event programming, creating tournaments. I spoke to James Ignatowicz on Instagram, which was pretty awesome. And he was like, hey, man, text me. And so I'm in texts with him and trying to get him and Anna Bright into the facility, trying to get pros into the facility with clinics, especially for the plethora of intermediate and advanced players that have quickly made the Miami pickleball scene what it is. So Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. So tell us a little bit about, pickleball, they have how many courts?
So we have 5 courts.
5 courts.
All indoors.
All indoors. Okay.
Our padel facility is right across the street. And so they have 8 courts, and they actually just added the only padel singles court. So
what's the difference between padel or paddle?
I have no judgments
Okay.
here. I'm not a
Okay.
pro at I'm going to say padel. I'm going to say padel because that's how we say it here. So
Okay, what's the difference between padel and pickleball?
there's a huge difference. So in padel, you play in a glass. So basically, you play doubles typically. I haven't seen singles on the pro circuit yet, and I could be wrong. I'm a pickleball guy. But it's commonly played in doubles like pickleball, except you're playing in a giant glass box. So you can actually bounce the ball off the walls. You can play it off the walls. If you overhead the ball hard enough and it lands on the other side of on the other court and it goes out of the glass cage,
right.
that's a point. So it's crazy. You can actually play the ball off the court if you're able to run through the doors. They typically have a metal cage.
Crazy.
You run through there, play it back in the court.
And
it's
how many
ridiculous.
people play? Is it?
It's 4 people at a time
so
usually.
Okay. So
Yeah,
it's
you
4,
usually
the
play
same.
in doubles.
Okay.
What I'm hearing from the paddle guys, because I have this leg injury and I can't try it yet,
Right.
is that it's much more fast paced. You play it with a deflated tennis ball as opposed to a pickleball, and it's played with paddles instead of rackets.
Same paddles
Just
that
like
you play
pickleball, but very different technology. Very different technology. It's meant to hit a tennis ball as opposed to a plastic wiffle ball. So
Right.
it's a much faster game, at least baseline to baseline level, if we're comparing the two
Right.
sports. Now, if we talk about pickleball, well, we all know about pickleball, but it's a much smaller court. I wouldn't say it's a 5-foot difference between court size, but you can't play off the walls. And a lot of the rules are more traditional to tennis and ping pong. So, and there's no kitchen in padel either. So you can run right up to volley the ball if you want to.
You can.
So, yeah, it looks like a really fun and exciting sport. It originally, I think it was invented in Mexico in 1963, made its way to Spain and Argentina.
Same thing as pickleball. I
Same-
mean, that was timing.
Pickleball was what, 1967,
I think it was 67.
67
yeah.
or 63.
Yeah.
But yeah, and it's in Europe, I mean, it took off like wildfire.
So it's a big sport in Europe that is really, I mean, I'm hearing more about it, but
Yeah.
So-
It's really starting to take off in Miami. There's a couple of other padel facilities. I know Reserve Padel just came up.
right.
I don't know if they have any pickleball courts. I haven't looked in their facility, but it's right on the water. It looks really nice. So yeah, it's definitely coming up in Miami. So
Okay, so since pickleball is the big, what
It's bigger.
everyone's doing,
Pickleball's a bigger
we
thing.
love, right, exactly. Tell us about, so how much does it cost to play and what does it look like? Because the
So-
rainy season is coming in.
The rainy season
and
is
it
coming.
is so hot to play outside.
It
and
is.
muggy. Yeah.
It's already becoming unbearable come 11 a.m. So right now we're working on a 2-tier membership system. I don't want to throw numbers out there just yet because we're still working on specifics, but that's going to be coming out hopefully by the end of this week, if not Monday. But basically how reservations work right now, if you remember during prime time, which is from 7 a.m. to 11:30 a.m., you would be paying $12 per person for the reservation. So if you just want to show up with another partner, it would just be you two. If you're members, it's $12 per person. You get the court for an hour. Now, if you're a non-member, essentially it's $15 at prime time. So that's 7 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. And from 4:30 p.m. to 11 p.m., we're open until 11 p.m. That's also prime time. So in between then and the afternoons, that's
Right.
low time hours. And for non-members, it ends up being $12 an hour for the reservation as opposed to $15 for non-members. And for members, it becomes $10 per hour and $12 per hour. So we're still working on numbers. Right now, I just
Right.
created a program called Monday Madness. It's an open play competitive program. Right now, I'm catering it to beginners. We're getting a lot of beginners in the facility. Also in Little River, Little Haiti area, there's not many pickleball courts. So we're really trying to get our name out to everyone in the surrounding areas. But Monday Madness is 6 people per court. It's
Right.
king of the court style. And if winners hold court for too long, they move up to another court. So we have it sectioned between beginners, beginner, intermediate, advanced, and advanced play. So
Got
we
it.
have a little bit of something for everyone on those Mondays. And what makes Monday Madness so great is it's $5 per hour. So you can play as long as you want, as long as you're paying $5 for the hour. So that's one of our newly created programs. We have our first Intro to Pickleball clinic starting next Saturday, and that's going to be $30 per person. We're capping it at 12. We're going to do 3 sessions, and that's taught by our padel and pickleball coach, Pablo Rodriguez. So he's fantastic. He's a very fun guy. I have to get him to stop hitting the ball off the walls because we do have walls around the surrounding indoor courts, but rest assured there's more than enough space from the walls and the courts. So hopefully next time I'm up here, we can get some pictures and video. But if you guys want to check out our Instagram, there's some pretty good reels that showcase what our courts look like. And yeah, it's a pretty cool facility. Everyone who comes in loves it. There's really cool artwork. We're trying to commission some high school artists to maybe get in there. And I believe it's... Is it Magic City Brewery? There's a lot of breweries in Miami now, but we have...
But it's a great area.
It's a great area. We have a brewery just next door, which is, it's Magic City Brewing Company. And we're trying to create some partnerships there, maybe some drinks in the future.
So that people can come and drink and play and that type of thing.
Play and then drink. You know, I mean, if you want to drink and then play, that's up to you. But, you know, it's a little bit of a liability. So we're trying to avoid that. So we also have a food truck. We serve Mediterranean cuisine, and that's just across the street at our paddle facility. We have coffee, hopefully some cafecito pretty soon. And we're moving a smaller food truck into our pickleball lot. So it's pretty cool. We have these 2 massive bay doors that open up. You can see into the facility. So when we do events, we'll have nice patio sections out there. And the possibilities are endless, and that's why I'm really excited to be here. So
that's great. That's amazing. Yeah, because now, you know, people are playing outdoors and it's hot. And, you know, you want to have places to play. I don't think there are a lot of indoor places.
Nope.
Well, a lot of the parks, some of the parks are creating indoor places because, you know, we want to make sure that it's affordable for people that can't necessarily afford to pay $10, $12 an hour. What is a membership?
So membership. So right now we're looking for $100 a month, and in terms of what that would get you is 1 free session a day. Okay. And then reduced rates on booking. So what those rates are, I don't want to say just yet because we're on camera. I want to figure those out. Right, of course. But essentially, we are aiming for $100 a month gets you 1 free session a day. So we're going to also have a $50 package, but we're trying to plan that out still. So, yeah. In terms of, now you brought up community. I said earlier, you know, community is something that's really kept me going. The changes in the pickleball community at large, especially with how fast the sport has blown up. I mean, in these 2 years, incredible. It's been crazy. Yeah. One of the things I do want to aim to do is community events, things that aren't always going to be super costly, because that is what has kept me here. I think that's what makes pickleball different from other sports.
It's all about the relationships.
All about the relationships. Yeah. That's what
people go out. They want to have fun.
Exactly. And it's always been fun up until, you know, I remember Miami Beach Golf Club. What did they have? They had the 6 blended or the 6 temporary courts. Remember, they had rollout nets. Then or is it 8 courts? It's been such a long time since I've been out there. It's 8 courts. I remember they started the new courts and the vibe just completely changed. And one thing I've always pushed in the many WhatsApp groups for anyone who's not a part of the community down here yet, there's this to play. It's not just Ultra, although we would appreciate if you came to Ultra. There's a lot of great outdoor courts, a lot of great people. As the sport started to take off and you got these more competitive, I want to call them young bucks involved. Yes. The vibe really started to change. So one of the things I want to do as someone who is now fully invested in pickleball, I really want to keep that essence of community, fun, whether that's going to be late night events because we are open pretty late. That's something I want to keep going. So the community's been great to me. Whatever I can do and give back to the community, I will do. So maybe you'll start having tournaments and things like that. Tournaments without a doubt. League play without a doubt. Trying to look into some MLP style play without it getting too crazy for players and for ourselves included. So Right now, definitely the focus is, though, getting some of those pro players in for clinics.
Absolutely,
You know, we're also talking to Catherine Parento. We're meeting with her next week. So, Catherine, if you're watching this, would be great to get you in there.
So let's let everyone know who Catherine is.
Catherine Parento. What? For everyone who doesn't know, so I'm not sure how many people...
If you're not a pickleball player, or you're not...
So if you're not a pickleball player and you don't follow pro pickleball, she's top 5 female player. She's a wonderful human being. I mean, I don't know her personally, but from watching her interviews and seeing her off court, her on court demeanor, she seems like a total class act, and she's an absolute beast of a player. So to get her in there would be awesome, especially for now we have, I remember it was all beginners just a year ago in Miami. Now you have all these intermediate advanced players who want more.
Everyone that started as a beginner has moved up.
Yes.
And they're moving up, and it's just, it's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, how pickleball works for anyone who hasn't played the sport. So first of all, if you pick up a paddle, if you like sports, if you're competitive at all, you're probably going to like it. This, in terms of getting better at the sport, if you have good hand-eye coordination, if you have any kind of racket sports experience, baseball players always make great pickleballers for some reason. It's something you can pick up really quickly. You can get to that intermediate level very fast. Now, once you get to intermediate advanced, that's where strategy's huge. That's where it becomes chess and not checkers.
Correct.
And it's a different kind of bug that starts to bite. And that's really when I started to feel
the addiction.
That's and I mean, just the amount of different volleys at the kitchen line, why you would use them. I mean, just getting into that tactical level of play, splitting the middle, are we playing down the line? I mean, there's so many different levels to this sport, and I love seeing the intermediate advanced players get to that level, and then they're like, wait, okay, what do I need to add to my game to get better? Do I have to work on strategy? Is it something between my partner? Is it synergy? Do I need to add some more techniques to my repertoire? Do I need to start lobbing? You know, that's the thing. The skill level is infinite. I don't even think.
Well, it's interesting because, you know, it started out with the sport that bangers, we don't want the bangers. Bangers are bad. Mm-hmm. Okay. And for all of you that don't know, those are people that are like tennis players that are just banging the ball all the time. I'm a tennis player, trying not to do that. But the technique and the fun part of it is trying to change that. Mm-hmm. Change it, you know, maybe change it from the banging, slow it down. Mm-hmm. And that's where the
patient game.
The patient game. And that's, you know, that's what makes it so much fun.
Oh yeah. I mean, me as a player personally, it's weird. I like to counterattack, but I follow this fantastic coach on Instagram. He's been coaching, I think, for, I want to say 30 to 20 years, pickleball specifically, also has a tennis background. His name's Dane Gingrich. And the way he talks about pickleball as a craft, that's how I want players to see it. Those are the kinds of players I would like to attract at Ultra eventually. I love the beginners. Bring in all the beginners, but I know they're going to get good quick. So in terms of bringing some of those higher caliber coaches, that's really where I think we're going to set ourselves apart from other facilities and other programs. So I think
that's great.
Yeah, and in terms of tennis players coming into the sport and padel players, I mean, so padel, since you do play with it as well, and you're not playing with a racket, they come into pickleball and they immediately pick it up faster than tennis players, I want to say.
Is there a lot of crossover there?
There's a lot of crossover because, I mean, in padel, you have 3 different types of overheads, and I'm not going to get into the specifics of that, but seeing these guys kind of bring their techniques in, I don't think we're seeing the top. I mean, look at Jack Sock. For anyone that doesn't know, Jack Sock is a pro tennis player. I think he's like top 10 or something like that.
Right.
He just won gold for the first time, his first tournament playing doubles with Annalie Waters, who I'm not sure if she still holds first as top female pro, but she's a 16-year-old freak of nature.
Amazing.
And Jack Sock just started hitting tweener lobs. Lobs are, I mean, they're a whole hellhound of their own regard, but tweener lobs. That's something I've never seen before.
What is that? Tell us what that is.
Yeah. So, sorry. All right. A tweener is, it's an in between the leg shot. So basically the ball's coming in between your legs. You pop the paddle in between there. Boom. You send the ball back over the net. It's usually just a flashy shot, but it gets you out of trouble, and it's a shot to go for if you have no other options. And there's a lot of pro players who hit tweeners regularly. I think Kristian is another one of them. Young guy, up and coming pro. He's so much fun to watch. So yeah, a tweener lob is when someone hits the ball in between your legs, and instead of just driving it back over the net, you're lobbing it over your opponent's head and making sure it lands by the baseline. So that's, I mean, I know we're starting to see a lot of that kind of touch.
In a lot of different things. Like they used to say, don't lob, lobs are not good. Now all of a sudden.
I love lobs.
Right.
I think if you have a lob in your repertoire, you should be lobbing people all the time, unless it's rec play and they're not physically able. Then you're just a cruel person, you know? Dane Gingrich actually talks about, so there used to be this whole patient play, right? Play patient, play patient. Now all the pros, and it shows on the pro level, attack, attack, attack. If you have the skill set, if you have the racket control, or the paddle control, I should say, you should be attacking. You should be aiming to chicken wing people. A chicken wing is when you try to attack someone's body uncomfortably, so you attack their dominant hand. And it's a very tough place to return the ball from. Typically, people send it back into the net. So there's some Pickleball 101 for you all.
I was going to say.
But yeah, so I mean, it's exciting. But like I said, as the sport accelerates and gets more competitive, I really want to keep those elements of community and fun, especially at Ultra, while making us hopefully one of the top tier competitive programs. You know, I want to have an Ultra Pickleball team. For anyone out there that's interested, we're going to have classes regularly Tuesday through Thursday. That'll be taught by coaches Pablo. We also have Victor, who's been playing pickleball for about 3 years. And he's actually well known in Miami. He's a firefighter, and he's a coach in his off time. So pretty cool guy, and he's got the skills to pay the bills.
You're a coach also.
And I am also a coach.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, I love coaching. I love pushing people to do better. I actually played in a tournament with one of my clients. She's a ping pong player. Hey, Inga, if you're watching this. And I actually got her as a beginner, and she taught me that ping pong is so dominant at the kitchen line. For all you non-pickleball players, what separates pickleball from tennis per se and padel is that it's all about getting to the kitchen line and dominating the kitchen line, right? We want to push them off the line. We want to win those kitchen battles. As I was coaching her, I was like, oh my God, her hands are so fast. And then I looked at her grip, which should have been one of the first things I did as a coach.
Right.
And she had a table tennis grip, and her hands were just so fast. Her volley game, incredible. I mean, just picked up the sport in no time.
Where you can. So for those of you that don't know, and you get to the kitchen line, and you have your paddle like this way, which we should have a paddle here to demonstrate.
Paddle at the ready.
And then you got to be ready to go like this.
Yes, exactly. And
you do know some things.
Yeah, I know some things. Yeah, paddle at the ready. But I mean, just the speed, the accuracy, the power that she has. I mean, she was using a demo paddle when I was training her, and I was like, "Listen, we should do a tournament." You know, she got competitive very fast, and she ends up telling me that she was a nationally ranked ping pong player from the Ukraine. So we played our first tournament, and of course she had those, for anyone who's never played a tournament before, you get the tournament jitters and you just kind of freeze up. There's something very nerve-wracking about it. Suddenly you're serving and you're like, oh my God, I've never done this before.
Yeah, of course, you psychologically psych yourself out.
Completely. It's crazy. And I'd like to think pressure is something that doesn't get to me anymore. But, you know, as I was playing with her, the pressure got to me. We lost our first 2 matches. And then after we lost those first 2, she just locked in, and we absolutely crushed it, you know, because we were playing mixed doubles. And for anyone who doesn't play pickleball, you have men's doubles, you have women's doubles, and you have mixed doubles. And that's a female-male partnership. Usually, a lot of strategy is they will try to isolate the female player, because oftentimes, and I don't always believe this, but there is a thought process that the female player is usually the weaker player. So once she caught onto that, that just kind of fired her up. And she was like, all right, you want to try and speed the ball up at me? I'm going to come back right at you. And I mean, she crushed it. It was so much fun. And it was what was more gratifying. We didn't medal, but seeing her take off like that. Now she's signing up for tournaments on her own. She's still taking lessons. I can't coach right now because of the leg injury, but I created a pickleballer. So that's
kind of real gratifying.
Yeah. I mean, it's, she's a physical therapist and she's a mother. You need hobbies in life. You need something to do. For me, watching my mom, she plays every day. She's 63 years old and she has a whole new subset of friends. She has a community that she goes out with now. She's happy. And we deserve to be happy. And,
well, the interesting thing is, not to interrupt you, but the interesting thing is, everyone always said the older group of people, the elderly, we, found their way and started playing. But now the younger people have come in, as Lily will say, shout out to Lily.
Shout out Lily.
The fastest growing age group is the younger demographics.
Yeah. From my personal experience, it looks to be 20s, like 20s going to like 35s. But, I want to see what kids are doing with the sport. You don't see many kids playing. I know there's some kids programs. I can't. I know there's some, can we edit that out? Is that possible? I know there's some kids programs popping up. We have a summer camp starting on the Padel side of things. So I would love to get some kids in the building.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, we're as a matter of fact, this afternoon I'm going to be having an indoor pickleball show with Connor Pori and his friend.
Okay.
Yeah, Connor's done a lot for the community.
Cool.
And they have pickleball now in high school. So, it's a makeshift basketball court, but that's what is so cool, that this younger generation is, playing the sport, and it's great.
Oh yeah, and especially now with the pro tours, I think kids seeing that and seeing pros, I think that's going to be really inspiring. I know it turns out when I ended up getting into pickleball, once I started coaching, I would tell people that, regular person, and they're like, you coach pickleball? And I was like, yeah. And they're like, oh, I played that in PE. And I'm like, okay, well, do you still play? And if they go, no, I go, come play. It's so much fun. You remember how much fun it was. But instead of making it a PE thing, a free time thing, let's turn it into a sport, a district officiated sport. I think it's the more that kids can do, the more that they can stay preoccupied, the more they can get active, I think, is better. The more programs you have to do that with, the better. So
correct.
That's definitely something we want to do on the pickleball side of things as well, but that's going to come with time. So yeah. But for any families that are watching, if you want to bring your kids, we are family friendly. I do want to emphasize that. Feel free to bring them. We got some great coaches. They're very friendly. They know how to make things fun. So yeah, we would love to get some children in the building, get some paddles in their hands, and yeah. So aside from that, in terms of, I just want to specifically go over our hours. We are open 7 a.m. to 11 p.m. So there's a lot of time there. If you ever have any questions for anyone watching right now, if you ever want to reach out, know more about the facility, have any suggestions, if you don't see anything on the website, feel free to reach out. My email is listed there. It's Kristian@ultraclub.me. I'm more than happy to help with any questions and concerns. So yeah.
Thank you so much for coming out. I really appreciate it.
It's been a pleasure, and I hope we get to do it again. And next time we'll have more to talk about specific events.
Always,
so,
always. And happy that Ultra Club is around, and there's a place that people can go play during our rainy season, which is here.
Oh, rainy season is upon us. The heat is becoming unbearable. The UV index is at an all-time high. There's definitely a benefit to playing indoors with all that being said, but come check us out.
Thank you.
We're here for you.
Thanks for showing up.
Absolutely.
Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching our show today. And for those of you that want to know more about pickleball, check out Ultra Club, and also go to our website, Community Newspapers, and check out our pickleball page, and you can see all the places you can play pickleball. So thank you. Have a wonderful afternoon.